Listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will change the way you look at women, at love, and at yourself forever. No man should ever accept what I'm about to expose, yet millions of men do every single day, and it is destroying them from the inside out. You've been told that being patient, forgiving, and endlessly giving is the highest form of love. But that's a lie. That's the trap. And it's the very reason so many men lose their power, their confidence, and their identity in relationships with women who never truly respected them in the first place. There are women out there who will not love you. They will use you. They won't nurture you. They will drain you. They don't see you as a man to honor, but as a source to consume. And the shocking part is this: they can only do it if you allow them. They can only take everything from you if you give them the permission to keep crossing boundaries you should have enforced long ago. This is not about hate, this is about truth. Because the truth is, toxic women don't destroy strong men. They destroy men who stay silent, men who refuse to walk away, men who confuse sacrifice with strength. But once you see through the illusion, once you learn how to take back your power, everything changes. If you've ever wondered why she disrespects you, why she drains you, why you feel empty even when you give her everything, stay with me until the very end. Because I promise you, what you'll hear today will shake you awake in a way you've never experienced before. It's easy to point fingers at toxic women and blame them for the downfall of men. It's easy to say, she ruined me, she broke me, she played me. But let's be brutally honest for a moment. She didn't destroy you. You destroyed yourself the moment you decided to stay in a situation that your soul already knew was killing you. That's the hard truth most men will never admit. When a woman disrespects you once, you feel the sting immediately. Your intuition warns you. You sense it's wrong. Yet what do most men do? They excuse it. They rationalize it. They say, maybe she didn't mean it. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe if I love her harder, she'll change. And in that very moment, you've already handed her the permission slip to continue poisoning your life. Because toxic behavior is like fire. It only grows when you feed it with your silence. Think about it. Every time you accept the unacceptable, you train her. You show her that your boundaries are negotiable, that your respect is for sale, that she can cross the line and face no consequences. You're not a victim in that scenario, you're a volunteer. You've chosen to stay, and in staying, you become complicit in your own destruction. That's why the real danger isn't her toxicity, it's your tolerance. And let me tell you why this is so devastating. Because men are wired to fix, to build, to endure. When things go wrong, a man's instinct is to work harder, to solve the problem, to hold on tighter. But love is not a problem to solve when the foundation is rotting. You can't build stability on manipulation. You can't create trust where there are lies. You can't fight for someone who is secretly fighting against you. Yet so many men waste years of their lives trying to fix what was never meant to be fixed. And every day you stay, you're not saving her. You're destroying yourself. This is not just about relationships. It's about the kind of man you are becoming in the process. When you keep accepting disrespect, you become weaker. You lose self-respect. You lose confidence. You lose clarity about what you deserve. Slowly, you become a shadow of yourself. A man who no longer leads, no longer protects his peace, no longer stands on principle. And when that happens, she doesn't even respect you more. She respects you less. Because deep down, even a toxic woman knows the difference between a man with standards and a man without a spine. Here's the paradox most men miss. The very thing you think is keeping her is what's actually making her despise you. You think tolerating her lies will make her loyal. You think staying through the games will prove your love. You think sacrificing yourself will eventually inspire her to change. But it doesn't. It just confirms to her that she can keep pushing, keep draining, keep controlling. Because you won't walk away. You think you're proving your strength by staying, but in her eyes, you've already surrendered your power. And I want you to really hear this. You are not a victim of her toxicity. You are a victim of your own unwillingness to let go. You are not broken because of her games. You are broken because you refuse to leave the game. That distinction matters because the moment you realize it, you stop blaming women and start taking responsibility for your choices. And that responsibility is your freedom. A man who values himself does not wait around hoping someone else will suddenly become who they should have been from the beginning. He doesn't beg for love from someone who never truly respected him. He doesn't waste his years trying to prove his worth to someone blind to it. He understands that his power lies not in holding on, but in walking away. So if you are listening to this and you recognize yourself in these words, understand this: you don't need to wait for her to destroy you completely before you act. You don't need to let your confidence, your peace, your spirit bleed out until there's nothing left. You already know she is toxic. The real question is, why are you still there? Because the truth is simple. She's not the one destroying you. You are, by staying, by accepting, by hoping. And until you face that truth, you will keep repeating the same cycle with a different face, a different name, the same pain. The power is in your choice. And the most powerful choice a man can ever make is to stop destroying himself by staying where he does not belong. So I'll leave you with this. You are not a victim of her toxicity, but of your own silence. Break the silence. Break the cycle. Walk away before you become a stranger to yourself. We need to be brutally honest about something most men refuse to see. A toxic woman doesn't crave your love. She craves your energy. She doesn't care about your heart. She cares about the resources, the strength, the life force you bring into her world. And when you give that to her blindly, she will consume it piece by piece until there's nothing left of you. At the start, it feels like love. She mirrors your passion. She reflects your dreams. She makes you feel alive in a way no one else ever has. That's not an accident. That's the hook. That's how she gains access to you. She draws you in with intensity so powerful it feels irresistible. But here's the truth: it's not love. It's extraction. She's not connecting with you to build something. She's attaching herself to you to feed. And you'll notice it if you look closely. Every interaction with her costs you something. Maybe it's your peace of mind. Maybe it's your self-respect. Maybe it's your time, your money, your focus. You start giving more and more, not because you want to, but because you feel like you have to. That's the subtle shift most men miss. You begin operating not from a place of love, but from fear. Fear of losing her, fear of disappointing her, fear of the silent punishment she delivers when she doesn't get what she wants. This is where men lose themselves. They confuse giving with loving. They believe sacrifice is proof of devotion. But let me ask you, how can it be love when it's never reciprocated? How can it be love when your giving only fuels her taking? That's not love. That's exploitation. A toxic woman sees you as a source. You are her battery, her supply. She thrives when you are drained. The more you give, the more she demands. And the cycle never ends because she doesn't want balance. She wants control. She doesn't want partnership. She wants power. And the easiest way to control a man is to make him believe that his value is only measured by what he can provide. Think about how dangerous that is. You start believing that the only way to keep her is to keep giving more time, more money, more attention, more emotional labor. And the moment you stop, the moment you set a boundary, she withholds affection, she criticizes, she compares you to others. And like a fool, you double your efforts because deep down, you're no longer loving her. You're desperately trying to keep her satisfied. That is not love. That is slavery. This is why so many men wake up years later and feel empty. Not just heartbroken, but hollow, because she never loved the man. She loved the energy he supplied. She loved the comfort, the status, the the validation. But when he had nothing left to give, she discarded him without hesitation. And he is left broken, not because she left, but because he realizes he gave away his essence to someone who never valued it in the first place. Here's the philosophical truth that should shake you to your core: love that is not mutual is not love at all. If your giving doesn't inspire giving back, if your sacrifices don't create balance, then you are not in love, you are in bondage. You are being drained, not cherished. And the longer you stay, the weaker you become. This is why you must understand the difference between love and extraction. Love empowers you, it fills you, it builds you. Extraction weakens you, empties you, destroys you. And only a man with self-respect can recognize the difference. A man without standards will keep giving until he is unrecognizable to himself. But a man with standards will look her in the eye and say, "If you cannot pour back into me, I will no longer pour into you." That is strength. That is self-preservation. So the next time you find yourself exhausted in a relationship, ask yourself, am I being loved or am I being used? Because the answer to that question will decide the future of your life. A toxic woman doesn't need your heart. She needs your energy. And if you keep feeding her at the expense of your soul, don't be surprised when you wake up one day with nothing left. The strongest men are not the ones who give endlessly. The strongest men are the ones who know when to stop giving. Remember this: love multiplies, but extraction depletes. And if she's depleting you, then you don't need her. You need to walk away. Most men believe that the way to handle a toxic woman is to argue louder, to fight harder, to prove themselves through endless words and explanations. They think if they just explain enough, if they just show her how much they care, if they just hold on tighter, somehow she will change. But this is the greatest trap of all. Because the more you fight, the more you engage, the more you try to convince her, the more power you give her over your mind. And that's exactly what she wants. A toxic woman thrives on reaction. She feeds on your anger, your frustration, your confusion. Every time you raise your voice, every time you beg, every time you lose control, she wins. Not because she's right, but because you've surrendered your peace to her chaos. What men don't realize is that fighting with her is not resistance. It is participation. It is proof that she still controls the emotional strings of your life. The most powerful move you can make in the face of toxicity is not to fight, it's to disengage, to detach, to walk away without wasting another ounce of energy trying to fix what was never meant to be fixed. Silence is not weakness, silence is power, because silence is the refusal to play the game. And when you stop playing, the game ends. But here's where most men struggle. Silence feels unnatural. It feels like surrender. They believe that if they don't explain themselves, they'll look weak. If they don't defend themselves, they'll seem guilty. But the truth is the opposite. Defensiveness fuels her control. Detachment destroys it. Because when you no longer react, you break the cycle of manipulation. She cannot push your buttons if you've disconnected the wires. Walking away doesn't just protect you. It redefines you. It transforms you from a man who is controlled by emotion into a man who is guided by principle. And that shift is everything, because it is not your words that prove your strength, it is your actions. You show your worth not by how long you can argue, but by how quickly you can walk away from what disrespects you. And let's be clear, walking away is not about punishment. It's not about making her chase you or teaching her a lesson. That's still ego. That's still attachment. Walking away is about reclaiming yourself. It's about choosing peace over chaos, dignity over disrespect, self-respect over temporary passion. Because in the end, no amount of chemistry, attraction, or desire is worth losing yourself for. Think of it like this: when a man stays in a toxic relationship, he's essentially saying, I value her validation more than I value my own sanity. But when he walks away, he's declaring, my peace is not negotiable, my respect is not for sale. My soul is not up for compromise. And that declaration is what separates the weak from the strong. Do not underestimate how rare that strength is. Most men will never find it. They will stay, they will beg, they will compromise. They will explain themselves into exhaustion, and they will lose everything in the process. Very few will have the courage to look toxicity in the face and walk away without looking back. But those who do, they rise, they rebuild. They attract women who respect them because they respect themselves first. The real question is not whether you can love her enough to change her. The real question is whether you can love yourself enough to leave her. Because at some point, a man must choose, do I keep giving my life away to someone who is draining me, or do I walk away and reclaim my power? And if you are sitting here listening, struggling with that choice, let me tell you something: silence, detachment, and walking away will feel hard at first, but it is the only way to break free. It is the only way to heal. It is the only way to grow into the man you were meant to be. Because in the end, the strongest men are not the ones who win arguments. They are not the ones who hold on the longest. The strongest men are the ones who have the courage to walk away when love has turned into poison. So I'll leave you with this. The most powerful statement you will ever make is not with your words, but with your feet. Walk away from what disrespects you. Because when you do, you don't just leave her behind. You find yourself again.